أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد.
The author continues and he states, ولا بيع غير معين كعبد من عبيده أو شام قطيع إلا فيما تتساوى أجزاؤه كقفيز من صبرة. And those matters which are not singled out. I'm not allowed to sell matters which are not singled out, like an unspecified slave from amongst my slaves. I say to you, I have 100 slaves. I'm selling one of them to you. Which one? Maybe it's the blind one, maybe it's the crippled one, maybe it's the very old one, and I sell it to you, I sell him to you for £1,000. Not allowed. I have 1,000 cars, I sell you one car. Which car? The old one, the new one, the broken one, etc. I don't specify. Not allowed. But if all my cars were the same, I had all Mercedes-Benz, 10 of them, same model, same condition, I say to you, I'm selling you one of my Mercedes-Benz which is like this and like this and like that and like that, describe it to you and you purchase it, no problem, because they're all the same. Or an unspecified sheep from his flock, except where all the parts are of equal value, like a measure of ground wheat. I say to you, I'm selling you one sheep. Which sheep? The old one, the young one, the sick one? We don't specify. This would not be allowed, except if all the sheep were the same and they were of the same value. I have, for example, 20 sheep, all of them are equal to £50 each, and I sell you one of them. You know obviously the value, you know the condition of this type of sheep, and so you purchase one of them. This would be permissible. And the author lastly states, like a measure of ground wheat. This is permissible because I have wheat and they are all the same, and so I sell you one measure, one saw, 1 kilogram, etc. of wheat which I have. All the wheat is the same, and so this would be permissible. We don't need to go and see every single one of those grains of wheat. No, no, no. No one does that. This would be permissible because it's all the same. Hayyakumullah. We had gone through a small introduction where we spoke about the divisions of business transactions in terms of the object of sale. We spoke about the divisions of business transactions in terms of time of delivery, time of payment. We spoke about the 7 preconditions. We spoke about the 3 pillars of a business transaction. We began the chapter Kitab al-Bay'. We saw that the author had mentioned various categories, various matters, permissible, impermissible. The author has stated the price of the dog, thamanul kalbi khabith. The price of this dog, it is something which is impermissible. We saw that the madhab allows for you to sell those objects which have permissible benefit in them. As for pornography, alcohol, these matters, they are impermissible. We continue, the author states in the last small subsection, وَنَهَى رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ عَنِ الْمُلَامَسَةِ. And the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he forbade mulamasa. What is mulamasa? The mode of bargaining called mulamasa. And the translation in reality requires a little bit of touching up. The mode of bargaining called mulamasa, which is mutual touching, which in reality is to say, whichever you touch, you can have it for such and such a price. This is mulamasa. That the seller, he says to you, that close your eyes, and whatever of these objects, there's 5 objects in front of you, whichever one of them you touch, then that object will be sold to you for £5. You pay me £5 right now, close your eyes and touch these 5 objects. Whichever one your hand goes upon, it would be sold to you for £5. Maybe there was an object there which was worth £1. Maybe an object worth £2. Maybe an object worth £1,000, and you touched the one worth £1. And so in reality you were caught in a bad deal. You paid 5 for something worth £1. Maybe you touched something which was worth £1,000. And so the seller, in reality, he is saddened by this. You only paid 5 and you got something worth 1,000. So in reality, this is impermissible for various reasons. We do not know what you are purchasing. It is like a gamble. And these are from the buyu of Jahiliyyah. These are the business transactions in the times of Jahiliyyah. Some have stated that this mulamasa is at night, a business transaction which occurred at night when you can't see what exactly you are purchasing. Or it is that you close your eyes and whichever you touch, you can have it for such and such. Whichever one you touch, it's for £5 and you don't know whether you're getting a good deal or a bad deal. That is mulamasa. Then the author states in the Arabic, وَهِيَ أَنْ يَقُولْ أَيُّ ثَوْبٍ لَمَسْتُهُ فَهُوَ لَكَ بِكَذَا. And as we translated, whichever one of these garments your hand falls upon, your eyes are closed, your hand falls upon one of these garments, it is for you, it is sold to you for such and such a price. وَعَنِ الْمُنَابَذَةِ وَهِيَ أَنْ يَقُولْ أَيُّ ثَوْبٍ نَبَذْتُهُ فَهُوَ إِلَيَّ فَهُوَ عَلَيَّ بِكَذَا. Also munabadha. Munabadha, throwing the article, adjust your translation, throwing an article and saying that whichever you throw to me is for such and such a price. Whichever one you throw to me will be for such and such a price. So you say to the seller, throw whatever you want to throw at me and I will pay for it £5, I will pay for it £2, etc. So you don't know what he's going to throw to you. He's going to throw to you something expensive. He's going to throw to you something which is very, very small in price, something which is very, very cheap. Or in reality, he throws to you something, while he is throwing, you mention the price. So at the time of throwing, he did not know what price you were going to offer him. He starts throwing something worth £10 and you scream out, I'm going to give you £5 for it. And so he is saddened, he made a loss in the matter. This munabadha, throwing to one another the object of sale and or the price of the object. Then the author states, وَعَنْ بَيْءَ الْحَصَى, and the transaction, بَيْء الْحَصَى, hasa technically means the stone. The transaction dealing with stones. Does this mean selling stones is impermissible? No, selling stones is permissible. Jayeed, no problem in that matter. Selling bricks and all of these things are permissible. But bay al-hasa is, as the author mentions, وَهِيَ أَنْ يَقُولْ إِرْمِ هَذِهِ الْحَصَى فَأَيُّ ثَوْبٍ وَقَعَتْ عَلَيْهِ فَهُوَ عَلَيْكَ بِكَذَا. Take the stone, the seller says, pick up the stone. And there's 5-6 objects there. Whichever one you hit, it is for you for £5. Pay £5 now and throw the stone, whichever one of the 5 objects you hit. This is a gamble. This is high levels of uncertainty. Maybe you miss, maybe you hit nothing, maybe you hit the expensive object, etc. Sharia does not want fighting, does not want enmity, hatred between the buyer and the seller. Wants you to know what you're buying, wants him to know what he is selling. Both of you happy, both of you go your both ways, and both of you knew exactly what had happened. Another definition of the transaction of the stone, bay al-hasa, is أو بعتك ما تبلغ هذه الحصى من هذه الأرض إذا رميتها بكذا. Or where the seller, he says to you that wherever the stone lands, it is sold for you for such and such a price. Pick up the stone and throw the stone as far as you can. Wherever the stone lands, it will be sold to you, or it is sold to you for £500, for £100,000. What if the individual who's throwing the stone, he cannot really throw fra, and he makes a mistake, he slips, the stone falls 5 feet in front of him, and so he purchased 5 feet in front of him of land for £100,000? He's going to be sad, he's going to be crazy, he will want to go back upon the sale, he will probably even kill the seller in this matter. Or maybe he's an Olympic thrower, subhanallah, and he throws so far, and he purchased it for a song, he purchased it for £100, so much of land. Jayyid, we don't know the amount of land that this man is purchasing. Jayyid, he's paying and he's bought, but we don't know how much, we don't know the object of the sale, how much of land it would be. Take note, if someone said, throw the stone, wherever it lands, we will see, and then I will sell it to you for an appropriate price. This would be permissible. This would be permissible. But as for throw, and it is sold for you for such and such a price which we agree upon now, this would not be permissible at all. Then the author states, أو بعتك ما تبلغ هذه الحصى من هذه الأرض إذا رميتها بكذا وعن بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. and also selling upon the sale of your brother. But before that, with regards to mulamasa, with regards to munabada, and with regards to bay al-hasa, the sale of the stone, why are they all not allowed? They are not allowed because it has high levels of jahala, high levels of uncertainty. We don't know, jahal, ignorance, we don't know what exactly we are transacting upon. Another reason could be, an added reason, is that there is no khiyar al-majlis. Khiyar al-majlis, we will learn later on, is that while we are at the place of the transaction, both of us have the option of going back against the transaction, reversing the transaction while we are still in the same majlis. Meaning, I purchase this book from you for £5. We are still here in the shop in front of one another. After I purchase the book, I take the book and you have the £5. I think to myself, you know what, I think I don't want this book any longer. And I say, you know what, I want to go back against this transaction. I want to reverse the transaction. I want my money back. Is this allowed? Yes, this is allowed. This is the option that every single one of them has, the buyer and the seller, while they are still in that majlis. You can go back against the transaction, reverse the transaction. In these examples which we mentioned, technically it might be permissible because of the jahala, the uncertainty, also because it has negated the option of reversing the transaction while we are still in that majlis. Also because it's like qimar. Qimar with the qaf, Jayid, qimar is gambling, and these are examples of, in reality, gambling. And because the uncertainty is a lot. If there was slight uncertainty, a little bit of uncertainty would be allowed, but high levels of uncertainty is something which is impermissible. Then the author mentions, and a sale upon the sale of your brother. This is impermissible, that your brother is purchasing something from someone and the shopkeeper is selling this matter to this individual, and you go there and you say that he is purchasing a radio. So you say to the man, no, don't buy this radio from Suleiman. I will sell you a radio for $1 cheaper. I will sell you a better radio. I will give you a better rate. This causes enmity and strife between people. Brother Ahmed is purchasing from Suleiman. They're busy transacting the transaction. You come in the middle and you say, no, I'll offer you something better. Whether Muslim or non-Muslim, everyone understands that this type of character and this type of behavior is something which is despicable, and this is something which is impermissible, and nobody likes this. This causes enmity, strife, hatred between individuals. So you go to him and say, I will sell you a better one, or I will sell you for cheaper, or I will, for example, sell you one which has this characteristic and that quality and this quality. You are selling upon the sale of your brother, impermissible. Also, som ala somi akhi, purchasing upon the purchase of your brother, not allowed. Brother Ahmed wants to buy something from Suleiman, and he goes there and he's transacting. And then you go along because you like this item. You've been looking for a radio like this. You say to the shopkeeper, no, don't sell it to him. I will pay you more for it. I'll give you double the amount, triple the amount, sell it to me. You are buying upon the sale of your brother, also impermissible. As for in the auction or in tenders, that is something which is permissible. At the auction, we don't say, well, don't bid because you're bidding upon the bid of your brother. No, that's the nature of an auction. Everyone tries to outbid the other. This is permissible. Or in tenders, where everyone wants to be the cheaper one to offer the tender. You put in your tender, he puts his tender. This is something which is permissible. And the proof for sale upon the sale of your brother and purchase upon the purchase of your brother that this is impermissible is the hadith recorded by Imam Muslim, the hadith of Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, where the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam states, وَلَا بَيْعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ, and both of you are not allowed to sell upon the sale of your brother. Then the author continues and he states, وَعَنْ بَيْعْ حَاضِرْ لِبَادٍ, and it is impermissible for the local to sell for the outsider. بَيْعْ حَاضِرْ لِبَادٍ وَهُوَ أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُ سِمْسَارًا, where you are the agent for the outsider. So this Bedouin or the outsider outside the city, he comes to the city with his goods. And obviously this man, his goods, he's probably going to sell it very, very cheap to the inhabitants of the city. He comes with all of these belongings to sell in the city. You meet him and you say to him that, no, you know what? I will be your agent. I will sell on behalf of yourself, or sell everything to me and I will sell it to the people in the town. Why does the local do this? Because the local does not want that outsider to sell it cheaper. The local wants to make a higher profit. Local wants to sell it in the city for the normal price that it is being sold for. And obviously the people of the town, they do not benefit from this matter, because if the outsider had sold it to them, he would have sold it quickly. He wants to get back to his city, he wants to get back to his town, he wants to leave this city quickly. He's a wholesaler, he's going to sell it cheap and go. Whereas the local will buy it from him, make a killing on it, and the people do not benefit. The local individual will inflate the price and the people don't benefit. The proof for this, the Prophet ﷺ in Sahih al-Bukhari has stated, "La bay' hadir libad," and the local must not sell for the outsider. Hadith in Bukhari. But obviously there are conditions, and the conditions are that the outsider must bring the goods himself. If, for example, he sent another agent, technically, if it's not for the benefit of the people, then it would not be haram for the local to act as the agent. So if the outsider comes himself, that's one condition. Number two, the outsider must want to sell it cheap. If he also wanted to sell it for the same price, then it wouldn't be an issue if the local acts as his agent, or the local purchases it and sells it for the same price. The illa in this matter is, the reason behind this matter is that we want the people to benefit if the outsider sells to them cheap. If the outsider is going to sell for the normal price, then it makes no difference who sells it, outsider or local. And another condition is that the local individual, he comes to the outsider, he meets the outsider and says to the outsider, I want you to make me your agent, I want to buy all of these belongings, I want to buy all of this food, etc., and I want to sell it. But if the outsider had come to the local and said to the local, I want you to be my agent, here there's no issue, because the outsider wants the local to act as his agent, no issue in that matter. Also, this item, the product of the sale, must be something that the people really need. It must be a staple object. As for example, it's cars, or it's this, or it's that, it's some sort of luxury item, then there is no issue in the local acting as the agent, or the local meeting the outsider and selling it to the people at an inflated price. Not a problem in the matter, inshaAllah. The author continues and he states, وَعَنِ النَّجَشِ, and najash is also something which is impermissible. وَهُوَ أَنْ يَزِيدْ فِي السِّلْعَ مَنْ لَا يُرِيدْ شِرَاءَهَا, and that is for a person to inflate the price of an object when he does not want it. An auction maybe. You don't really want to purchase that vehicle, but every time there's a bid, you put up your hands and you increase on the bid. Why do you increase on the bid? Because you want to harm the people who are bidding. You want the price to be inflated so that, they spend more money. You want to benefit the seller of this object. You want to benefit the seller, and you also want to harm the people who are bidding. This is impermissible. You're just bidding for nothing. You don't really want that object. Or for example, you bid to harm the seller. You inflate the price of that car and you bid higher and higher and higher, until eventually nobody purchases this car. Jayid, nobody purchases this car, and so the seller, he is harmed in this matter. You overbidded, so people don't purchase, or you keep bidding so that the price increases and it is inflated. The proof for this is the hadith recorded by Imam Muslim, وَلَا تَنَاجَشُوا, and you should not bid upon the bid of your brother, or rather you should not bid in trying to increase the price, inflating the price so as to harm your brother.